Rick Doherty here. This is the Domino Theory, and I am in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, right outside the state capitol to cover an anti-ICE rally here in Harrisburg. And you might be saying to yourself, well, this is a history YouTube channel, so what does a modern day anti-ICE political rally have to do with history? Well, it has a whole lot to do with it, as a matter of fact. I really want to use this channel to highlight how history impacts the present day. And I don't know if there is any issue where that is more prevalent than with immigration. Just earlier this week, I had a video from the Old Jail Museum in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, where 4 suspected Molly Maguires were executed because it was so easy to otherize them as Irish immigrants, as Irish Americans, and they were vilified. What were they actually doing? They were fighting for workers' rights, but they ended up being executed. So you might think that this isn't your battle. You might think this isn't a concern of yours. But if you're Irish, Italian, Polish, it might not be your group now, but this is still your story. Immigration, anti-immigration sentiments, these are things that go back to the very founding of the nation. And the same fights that we're having right now are the ones that your ancestors had in the 19th century, in the 20th century. And I think that's really important to highlight.
have to continue having joy. We have to continue having resistance and fighting against fascism. And gatherings like these are responsible and important to raise our spirits. So we must keep the joy alive. Yeah.
Acuérdense, llévense en su corazón este momento de alegría para seguir luchando. Siempre que se sientan tristes y apesadumbrados, recuerden que somos muchos los que pensamos de esta manera y que vamos a seguir luchando.
Sí, claro.
So as we keep going, and if you start feeling down, just remember the feeling of this day, and remember that there's more of us who think like us than there are of them.
Tree that's planted by the water. No nos moverá. Juntos hacemos. There's a great trouble in the land. We're gonna set it right again. There's a great trouble in the land. We're gonna set it right again. There's a great trouble in the land. We're gonna set it right again. We're gonna set it right again. Now, trouble's been brewing too many years. Trouble's been brewing too many years. We're gonna set it right again. Trouble's been brewing too many years. We're gonna set it right again.
Shapiro! 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 All right, one last time. Shapiro!
I specifically wanted to highlight this food truck because they were on hand specifically to serve the protesters on site.
Sister Sharon White, Sister of St. Joseph from Philadelphia County. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. My name is Sister Sharon, and I am a proud sister of St. Joseph of Philadelphia. Today we gather with people of many faiths and backgrounds to raise our voices for justice. We stand together because we believe that every human person is created in the image and likeness of God and deserves to live with dignity, safety, and freedom.
That's right.
As Sisters of St. Joseph, our mission is to deepen our union with God and one another. Since our founding more than 3 centuries ago, we have been called to live the love of the dear neighbor without distinction. Every person is our neighbor. Every family deserves care. Every person belongs. Our commitment to stand in solidarity with immigrants, refugees, and people seeking asylum flows directly from that mission.
When I first got involved in this work in high school, I always cared about immigration, but it still felt sort of distant. I've experienced racism, discrimination. I know that anti-immigrant rhetoric exists. And I was aware of the barriers and uncertainty that immigrants faced. I mean, I come from immigrants. But if I'm being really honest, some of those things I just experienced through the news, and not really so much from my own lived experiences. And today I'm fortunate that the hardest decision I'll have to make is picking which organization's shirt to wear.
That's right.
Udi Center got me lunch.
Next time.
And there are so many people who just don't have that ease of life right now. People who have to decide whether they should go to work. People who don't have time to prepare themselves when ICE pulls them over or enters their home. Just think about that for a second. Just imagine waking up every day and knowing that going to work could separate you from your family, the one that you have to support.
2 years ago, alongside hundreds of immigrant youth from Driving PA Forward Coalition member organizations, we called on Pennsylvania legislators to pass a critical bill. We demanded that all Pennsylvanians, regardless of immigration status, be allowed to apply for driver's license, backed by robust safeguards to protect personal data.
Yes.
Neither chamber of the General Assembly passed the bill.
Shame.
Sadly, that wasn't the first time our state leadership failed to make this essential change for basic human dignity. For over a decade, our communities have shown up at the Capitol, and yet our state leaders continue to stall.
Shame.
Because of their inaction, state databases are still being used as tracking tools, handing immigrant family data directly over to ICE. Because of this failure, families have been torn apart, their lifelong work to build a life here has been shattered, and private prison corporations like the GEO Group keep profiting literally at the cost of our immigrant lives.
We're here today because this is our lived experiences. This is happening to our communities. And every day Josh Shapiro doesn't do something, he puts us all at harm.
That's right. Shame.
Shame.
My name is Reverend Leslie Moss, and I'm ordained pastor in the United Church of Christ, serving in Norristown, Montgomery County. I've seen firsthand the cruelty and devastation caused by ICE raids and detentions in Norristown.
Shame.
I've witnessed thriving families suddenly thrust into poverty due to the abduction of a primary breadwinner.
Shame.
And I know students, children, struggling with whether to drop out of school in order to help support their younger siblings.
Shame.
But I'm here today to speak primarily about Abraxas, a word you've heard a number of times already.
Shut it down.
Anyone in Pennsylvania who is involved with juvenile justice or criminal justice reform knows of Abraxas Academy Juvenile Detention Center in Morgantown, Berks County. Abraxas is a private, for-profit correctional facility, a prison for kids with historic ties to GEO Group. Yes, the same GEO Group that privately owns and operates Moshannon and Delaney Hall. We know, we have actual data that incarcerating juveniles in these type of facilities is harmful. Regardless of what mistakes a young person made or what law they broke, they're at a point in their development where detainment is catastrophic. Their regular education is disrupted, making them less likely to graduate and engage stable employment. They have significantly higher rates of PTSD, anxiety, and suicidal ideation. Adolescent confinement actually alters brain development, permanently disadvantaging these young people. And many of these facilities, especially the for-profit ones, have staff shortages, inadequate medical support, they overuse isolation and restraint, and they neglect children. It goes without saying that under such conditions, troubled youth deteriorate, regress, and become even more likely to reoffend. Abraxas, here in Pennsylvania, in Berks County, has a history of neglect, child abuse, and child sexual assault.
Shut it down.
The Pennsylvania Department of Human Services actually revoked one of Abraxas's operating permits in January of 2026 because the facility failed to report suspected child abuse. In this particular case, a staff member shoving a child's face into a table.
Shame.
But the most heinous issues at Abraxas are the multiple allegations of sexual abuse. I am holding in my hands 4 separate publicly filed lawsuits brought by victims. When I read these, I was physically ill. The depravity of the staff, the horrors inflicted upon these young people. Child sexual abuse is completely indefensible. It is evil.
Yes, it is. Evil.
But Pastor, why are we talking about the horrors of this particular facility today at this immigration press conference? Well, back in October 2025, our government paid $9 million to Abraxas in order to detain unaccompanied minors there as well.
Shame.
Unaccompanied immigrant children.
Shame.
Kids who have already fled violence, likely experienced abuse and trauma, may have been trafficked and came to us for safety. We are housing them in Berks County in a facility with a revoked permit where they neglect, abuse, and sexually assault children.
Shame.
Or at least according to the surviving victims.
Well, this was definitely a different style of video for me, covering a current event, even though it does have a lot to do with our history. So if you like me covering events like this, talking about some more modern topics, even on a very, very windy day here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. It'll help me know what type of content you want me to gravitate towards next. So thank you, and I hope you enjoyed.